never been before. We didn't say our historic savings rates dropped from 8 to 10% to a negative 2%. We just went nuts. Some of it fueled, by the housing, the market, the access to easy money, and we spent all that money. And the world was happy to sell us stuff. Well, that ain't going to work anymore. That's not going to come back. We don't want that to come back. And part of that was the rationale behind, the president's rationalization that not only in the U.S. interest, it's in the world's interest that some of these economies that are so extraordinarily export dependent, at some point, particularly the emerging economies, are going to have to begin to develop a more broad-based consumer economy of their own. And as they do that, because of our unique movement up the manufacturing and innovative chain, we can help you with that. So from our perspective, it's not that hard. We've got to make more. And we need to sell more of what we make. And we can do that to help some of these emerging and developing countries meet their global objectives and their own domestic agendas. If we do it in a way, it can kind of help rebalance some of the trade imbalances in a way that fundamentally help our economy, but also help these economies grow. So it shouldn't be something that they're afraid of. But in the trade sense, that's the way we look at it. On the global financial regulatory sense, I think you just have to kind of rest assured that that's something that the leaders of the G20 are going to continue to grapple with.
I think we've got time for one more. Last question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, recently, U.S. just filed.
Would you tell me who you're with?
Oh, yeah. I'm Kitty Wang with NTD-TV. Yeah, recently, U.S. just filed a WTO complaint regarding the China's closed-door policy on the to the U.S. credit card companies. Could you just elaborate more on the U.S. stance on this issue?
What we seek from every trading partner we have, whether it's in the WTO, whether it's an FTA partner, the Obama administration's trade policy, more so than any other government, has been fueled by one thing. We want access to your markets, and secondly, we want you to behave the way you said you would. And so I would tell you broadly, we want government to get your thumb off the scale. We want state-owned enterprises to get out of the business and just let us compete. The American public is pretty cynical about trade right now, but the American public's fair. We don't mind losing if it's a fair fight. But what I hear from businesses, what I hear from even industries that export, is a growing frustration that it ain't a fair fight. You let us go in and compete and let me put up the best of what we have, we'll take our chances. But we can't compete continually if we go into an environment and we have a country either by industrial policy or in the guise of indigenous innovation or other export matters continues to tip the scales, and that's not acceptable. And it's also not protectionist. And nothing burns me more than the claims that every time the United States stands up and fights for the right of small businesses, manufacturers, farmers, and ranchers, we have these ridiculous claims of protectionism hurled at us. And I said to our friends at the European Union, if the only way I can prove my fidelity to trade is for the United States to roll over and lose every battle, that ain't gonna happen. So all we're asking China to do, play by the rules. Get your thumb off the scale, let us go and compete equally and don't create competitive advantages. And we say that to all our trading partners, whether it's the European Union, beef, whether it's Russia, poultry, whether it's Canada and softwood lumber, any of our partners. And you know what? The United States has got to live up to our obligations as well. Because this global trading stuff doesn't work unless all of us play by the rules. But the Obama administration is absolutely going to be as committed to enforcing our rights of our manufacturers, our service providers, and their workers as we are in opening up new market opportunities. We think that makes good trade policy. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ministerial